Alright, this is the teardown and cleaning of a DC65 Cyclone Assembly. This is also the same as a DC41 and a UP13, I believe. I could be wrong about that last one. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up the lid, and then you're going to separate this piece once it's back. You can pry this out, and that just pops off. Water will get trapped inside of here, so I never submerge this piece. I can just kind of wipe it down in order to get that clean, so I wouldn't submerge that piece. Okay, then pull your filter out. That's going to go in my bucket. Okay, then we're going to take our container off. Pull this out. You hit that gray button to separate the clear container, and then we're going to pull out the gaskets. These just pull out. And there's a trick to putting them back in, so I'll show you how to do that. Just pull them out. Be careful right here. There's this little latch. If you pull this gasket out too hard, you'll break that off. You got to be careful pulling it out around there. Alright, this one is smelly. Okay. People try to clean these with just water without taking it apart. In water and moisture, it builds up inside of here and it makes it smell even worse. So, okay. So you're going to take this gray button off. You just pry that out with a screwdriver, as you saw. And you're going to take a flat blade and just going to go work around in these little clips. And you're going to pry it up one at a time. Okay. And then you're going to go here, and this screen's going to come off, and what you're going to do is get your screwdriver underneath this lip and then just slide it. Oh man, this one stinks so bad. I have to charge extra for this one. Okay, and then the screen pulls off, and then you can wash all these parts. Okay, now this is evidence of, see how it's like got scaly like dirt? This is evidence of someone getting inside of here wet and then it not drying fully, so it just cakes. The dirt just cakes up, so it's pretty nasty. And my hands will wash up, don't worry. So you're going to pry this white cover piece off. And it's just fit on with friction. So you're going to work around, all the way around until it pries up. Okay, pull your spring out. This just twists out. I'll show you how to put that back in. Okay, now you're going to have a T15, and there's I think 6. Put my mask on. This part's nasty. There's torque screws down in there. You will see them. I'll show them to you. Once I have it apart, I'll show it to you. You're going to need a long screwdriver, kind of a deeper well. And these are rusted because they've been trying to rinse this thing out and water's just been sitting in there. But they're not rusted bad enough where I couldn't get them out. Okay, see the holes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 screws you're going to take out. Now this one's wet, so I'm going to be careful peeling it off, not to rip it. Okay, see the cyclone assembly? See how nasty it is? We're going to clean that up. This will all clean up. Okay, we're back. We've got the cyclone assembly for the DC65 and 41, and I believe the UP14. Most of these are all the same. So I've got these parts cleaned and ready to get put back together. This particular one was quite dirty. So you're going to start with this lid here, and see these 3 screw holes. That's going to be where I'm placing the top, just so I know how to orientate everything. Now I'm going to be finding my 3 screw holes with this black tube. See, I got the 3 holes in a row, so that's going to go like that. And you can also see there's a small little indentation right here for where the red lever goes. And then you're going to take there's a small little locator. If you can see it, it's right there. And that's where, on this gasket, this lines up right there. So that's how you know to put that in the right place. And then your indentations on the gasket are going to be facing upward. So this gasket actually had a tiny rip in it. So we just put a small piece of tape on it just to seal it. So it creates a good seal. Okay. Now you're going to take your cyclone here, and you're going to slide this piece in place, and then we will put the spring in after this, but this has got to go in before you set this in place. Okay, and then one tip, at least for me, is get your screws in first, because they can be tricky to install once you set it down, because the tube takes up all the space. You can't get your hand in there very easily.
So put the screws in first. And
that way you're just going to set it down gently, lined up with my holes. Okay. And then T15, and then you want to alternate across, screwing every other one in.
I'm gonna start pattern if you can. Screws are tight. Alright.
Okay, next you're going to slide this white piece back over, and you have a little locator right here, and that will line up with this little, you can see that where it lines up with. So that slides over, and it goes this way facing up. Push that down in place.
It just fits on with friction.
And you're going to get your gasket here, and you have a little locator on this gasket, this little piece right here. So you're going to find that and line that up, and just set your gasket in place. Okay, next we're going to put our spring in, and this is a little bit tricky. So you can see the spring. It's got 2 little tabs. So the spring is going to want to keep this up and then also out. So that's the goal of these tabs right here on the spring. So what you're going to do is you're going to install it down in place here, and then it rotates around, and then it goes behind this red lever. And then what you want to do is get you a small screwdriver, and you're going to stick it in and actually want to pull the spring like it's going in. And then as you pull that spring in, you're going to rotate it. You're going to rotate this harder to do with me facing the trying to face it with the camera. I'm used to doing it in a certain orientation, so bear with me here. So as you pull that spring in, you're going to be feeding it. You're going to be feeding this and rotating this piece down in place. Okay, so now it's in there. And that's what provides the tension to keep this red lever out. Okay. All right, so now that you have the spring, you hold the spring in place, and you're going to slide your gray Cyclone cover on, and then just pull tight and it pops in place. Now you can release the spring, and then just close and pull tight all of these tabs and make sure they all pop. Okay, then you're going to take your little dirt cup button here, and this flat side here is what goes down. Put your spring in place, and then you can use a flat blade screwdriver to kind of pry it down in there. Okay, now you're going to take your screen, and the screen is going to has a little void here, and you're going to find where that lines up, which is right here. Okay, and you're going to pull that, and that's just going to pop on. Okay. Get the lid back on. Same way you took it off. And then put your filter in. Now we're going to work on the clear bin because we took the gaskets out, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I got the gaskets. I pulled the gaskets out because it allows me to clean this door much better. So I always pull the gaskets. When you're reinstalling them, if they're clean and once they're clean, I actually wipe them down with like an Armor All type substance, because that allows them to be installed a lot easier. So you're just gonna, this middle gasket, just press it in place around the outside. Just go around, make sure it's kind of pressing into place, and then you're gonna press it and just push it down in the middle as well. It just needs to stay in place, obviously, to create a good seal when this closes. Okay, so the best method of getting this installed is to start here in the back, and then you're going to slide it in. This one went in very easily. Sometimes they're tricky. And then just locate it, line it up, and then there's a little rubber tab. You can see it, and you're just going to press that in and then push this down. Okay, and that's all lined up. And then put your dirt cup back together. Okay, and make sure this is working properly. That's the thing that you can get wrong. See how that's wanting to spring out? If you didn't get your spring in right, then this is going to not line up with this lever, which then when you push this button, it doesn't open the door at the bottom. So if that's all messed up, then that could be not working properly if you didn't get the spring put in right. So it's got to have that tension that's wanting to rotate it and always keep it out. So okay, thanks for watching.